The Quran Commie Corridor is what they're calling it, and rightfully so. Yesterday, Democratic Socialist of America and Mayor Zohran Mamdani backed candidates had a clean sweep in the congressional primaries, and establishment Democrats are sweating harissa. Take a look.
Left-wing candidates are here, ALC and Mamdani, but also this is the stronghold for the establishment, Schumer and Hakeem Jeffrey. This is a battle between the establishment and this insurgency, and the roof is collapsing on the Democratic Party establishment tonight. If Mamdani gets a hat trick, 3 out of 3, this is a new era for the Democratic Party, and you can't write off New York City because this is the place where both it's the power center for the establishment and the insurgency, and they're going head-to-head tonight. And right now, this is no longer a movement. This is a movement and a machine at the same time. There's just no way to sugarcoat this. If Mamdani pulls off a hat trick, it is a new era in Democratic Party politics.
Well, and if you're a moderate Democrat who's on the election, who's on the ballot this November, Van, I mean, they're all going to get asked about the positions that we're hearing from these other fellow Democrats.
Well, look, I think, from our frontline Democrats will be able to make their case for themselves. I think they'll be able to do okay. We got a lot of national security Democrats in other parts of the country, but this is a big deal tonight. And I think that look, I don't know what you want me to say here. This is a straight up battle between the establishment and the insurgency, and the establishment is getting its butt kicked tonight in New York City.
They certainly did. They got their butts kicked. All right, ladies, let's sound off to this and talk about what happened here. All right. So Nicole, I mean, they're calling Mamdani a kingmaker today. What are your thoughts? Is it something? Is he worthy of that? And what do you think this means for the Democrat Party?
Well, this takeover didn't just start yesterday. This started like 4 years ago again, and it's not only New York, it's in Seattle, it's in all of their very blue places, in Michigan, and we talk about Grand Platinum on this show all of the time. The Democrats have a problem. It used to just be a man problem, but now they have a man and an America problem. And that's going to be the death knell. This is not your grandpa's Democrat Party anymore. This is not the party of Birkenstocks and too much weed. They have gone so far to the left that they've lost themselves. And it's just a matter of time before somebody wises up and says, listen, we got to burn this thing to the ground in order to save it. And Hakeem Jeffries just doesn't have that kind of power anymore. Mamdani kicked his ass.
Yeah, literally, because the candidates that he put out, none of them won. Shelley, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's unfortunate myself, politically speaking, that these socialists really won in New York. But I think a better question would be, what does this mean for Republicans in the general election? Because these are the people that are going to be on the ballots that the right has to go against. So how are the Republicans going to, I guess, push back, if you will, this socialism, this ideology that seems to be taking a foothold, not just in New York City, but across the country, particularly in Los Angeles, Seattle, here in Maryland as a state, and certainly in New York City. I think that's the better or bigger question that needs to be asked. They already won. They won their primaries. What the general is going to pretend, that's what we need to be looking forward to.
Absolutely. Well, folks, the Democrats are nervous. The establishment Democrats are nervous because many are saying that if these people, as we've seen, these socialists win the primaries, this won't play nationally. Take a look here. This is clip 6.
Democratic socialists are knocking out Democratic establishment candidates, people, that have been doing this for quite some time. And Bill and Dana, that's why they say they want to take them out. They say they're part of the problem. They need to move the Democratic Party in a new direction. And in this race here in New York City, an endorsement from the mayor meant more than an endorsement from the party's top leaders.
That last June, a year ago tomorrow, was not an anomaly. It was not the end. It was the beginning.
Mamdani went 3 for 3 last night with fellow Democratic Socialist Daria Liza Avila Chevalier, Claire Valdez, and progressive Brad Lander winning. And Brad Lander won fast. We were watching those results come in. They all want to do a few things, all right? Abolish ICE, defund the police, cut ties with Israel, and take the party in a new direction. One of the night's biggest upsets, Chevalier knocking off 5-term Congressman Adriano Espaillat. She's a newcomer, rather. He's not. And she is strongly anti-Israel. I keep thinking back, did I see her out at Columbia? Because she went to school there and she was also leading those campus protests. Israel also the defining issue in this race. One of the main reasons that Congressman Dan Goldman lost to Brad Lander was because of Israel. They're both Jewish, but boy, do they have different takes.
But it's not just the Jews who will lose, it will be everybody else.
How do you balance that with being anti-AIPAC, anti-Israel, and a lot of things, but you're Jewish?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a proud Jewish New Yorker. I wear it on my sleeve, raising my Jewish kids in this city, like, proudest thing in my life. It's an incredible city for Jews for a century. I'm going to fight to keep it that way.
But a lot of Jewish voters don't feel safe in New York or across the country, so we'll keep an eye on that. The so-called red wave, though, is not just in the Big Apple. Democratic Socialists won nearly every key race across New York State yesterday, and some voters tell me the reason I came to the United States wasn't to deal with this. I came to escape socialist policies. Do you want to bring socialism in?
No.
Why?
No, why? Because I'm from Latin America. We have a Venezuela, we have a Cuba. We know Spanish speaker, Latin America, we know what it means socialist. What it means. We don't want this in New York.
And the DSA is calling New York City the Commie Corridor. That's a new one, so I don't know if I should toss it back to you and say live from the Commie Corridor or live from the Big Apple. But one more thing here is we're going to have to see. The question is Zohran Mamdani's playbook going to work in November? That's the big question that I think those Democratic leaders are watching too, Bill.
All right. There we go. There we have it. So let's get into this, ladies. Let's talk about what we just saw here. So I thought it was odd, Nicole. We saw how the reporter was talking about the Democratic Socialist who won that's Jewish. And he's like anti-Jew, is he or not? Isn't he?
Well, there are some Jews who are born into the faith who are not practicing.
Right.
And it's when it's socially expedient to be Jewish, they turn it on, they turn it off. And there are others who are observant and who are practicing. And the people who many of the people who inhabit lots of places in New York are practicing Jews. You see your Hasidic Jews, the Orthodox, all of those living pretty much set apart in the city of millions. But with all of that said, there was a big kerfluffle about, a Jewish incumbent being thrown out of a cafe for being Jewish.
Mm-hmm. It was him. It was Goldman, right?
Yeah. In New York City. This is the same guy who's saying that he's not Jewish enough. I'm kind of Jewish light, I'm Jewish adjacent, not actually Jewish. I was born this way, trying to distance himself as much as he can from the God of his father and his father's father, which is a very interesting take. It does beg the question, what will New Yorkers save? Because if they'll throw away their God, they'll throw away their freedom, they'll throw away their money, what will they save? There's nothing left. There's nothing left. Oh, except for sheets. They should all run out, go get their burqas, go get their hijabs, because, honey, they're coming for you. They're coming for you.
Oh, and I guess the non-religious Jews don't give a damn about the Orthodox ones, right? You're still Jewish. The ethnicity, you're still Jewish, but I guess you don't give a damn about the religious ones. You only care. You care about the religious Muslims, right? Shelley, what are your thoughts on this?
Look, first, two things. I thought it kind of went by very quickly that they're now calling this number one commie corridor. And the journalist herself was laughing, which says to me that many people in New York, just like we asked, how did Mamdani get into office? It doesn't seem to me, at least right now, that New Yorkers are too concerned because they just voted in a whole socialist panel. That's number two. Number three, this idea of this red wave, you notice the sleight of hand, because red wave wave is typically associated when Republicans win. Now this red wave is really, they're talking about communism, socialist countries, this bloody communist ideology. They're using it, and they're using it kind of in a positive way. It's a sleight of hand, because most people, if you hear red wave, Americans, you think of Republicans, but that's not what it is. So this tells me again that either New Yorkers more and more they want this. They are embracing this, because they certainly elected this whole slate in, at least on the Democratic side. And it also tells me that the political trickery, if you will, they're using it to their advantage.
Yeah. Well, globally, and we're going to talk about this a little later when we talk about this Marxist Islamic connection, there is a red wave. They did call it. They called it the red and green wave, actually. So that's why they're saying it there as well. This red and green wave is the connection between the Islamism and the Marxism, or socialist, as they're saying. But they're outright Marxists. They're outright Marxists. Folks, all right. Well, as you come in, folks, hit that like button. Again, this is Pop and Politics. Remember to share and subscribe, folks, as you come in. If you are tired of the power-hungry commie leftists trying to strip us of our rights and tear apart our country, you're in the right place, because we push back against them. So, ladies, let's set it off. Not only do we push back against them, but our merch says it, right, Nicole?
It does. Let me tell you, not white, not black, American. This is the shirt you need. 4th of July is right around the corner. If you order today, you might be able to get it in time. You might be able to get it in time and wear it wherever you're celebrating. But this shirt speaks to the heart of being a good American. It is not expensive, and every dime that you spend on this shirt helps to support our channel. This is a good look. You look good doing it. You can buy one for your friends and for your family. This is a mug that I took to work earlier this week. And let me tell you, everybody wants one. Now I'm having to get some for the entire staff. They love the big eagle on the front. I love the big eagle on the front. It looks good, and it speaks to who we really are. So put your order in today. The last time that we had them up, I'm telling you, you guys went crazy and broke the internet. They're back up and running, and usually about a week it takes to get. So if you order today, and it comes in a variety of colors, order today, and you should be good for the holiday.
Absolutely. It looks like we have some super chats, Shelly.
Yes, we do here. Hi, everybody out there in chat land. Let's see what super chats we have. Tijuana, Butter Jumper. Hi, thank you for tonight, the $20. Hi, ladies. Hi, Nicole. Fight. Thank you, Tijuana. Good to see you. We also have Paul. Hi, Paul. Thank you for the $10. Just supporting my favorite show, and you are one of our favorite guys. Thank you for that, Paul. Everybody else out there in chat land, you know what to do. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Hi, Bernie. Hi, Allie. Hi, Scrap and Beauty. All our mods out there. Kung Fu CJ, Jessica. I'll probably get a few of you throughout the show, so stay with us. But right now, hit that like, share, and subscribe, and go to our website, www.metroconservativemedia.com, where you can get the rundown, the lowdown on all the shows on the Metro Conservative Media platform. Go ahead and do that right now.
Absolutely, folks. All right, so we're going to continue on this because we got so much to bring to you guys. We want to go through what occurred yesterday. Now, as you mentioned, Shelly, what are the Republicans talking about? What are conservatives going to do with this onslaught of socialists? Well, one thing is for sure. The Democrats are kind of nervous. Establishment Democrats, at least, are rattled, okay? Progressives are celebrating it as people power and proof the party is moving in their direction. Take a look at MSNBC Morning's Joe as he crashes out over this. He and Donny Deutsch, they were at it over this takeover and seeing, comparing who's right and who's wrong.
Days a year. Today, they will act like, and I hope you don't act like, New York City is the center of the world, because it's a big country out there.
You know what? There's what's called badge branding. You sell Chevrolets and you use Corvette to kind of sell the whole thing. And my concern, this is from a branding point of view, not a reality point of view, is that you now have the ability, I'm not talking about Fox News, I'm talking about if the Republicans are running against Democrats, no matter who the Democrat is, they say the Democratic Party stands for this. The Democratic Party stands for what these principles stand for.
Can I ask you this? How many points did Mikey Sherrill win by when we heard she was going to lose?
But now you have
hold on a second. How many points did Abigail Spanberger win in Virginia, despite being told, oh, the Democrats are all socialists, they're all left wing? It's the same exact thing, Donnie.
There's new news now. You have a real wave happening. Joe, I think the Democratic Party, and you've got now 2 Democratic Socialists, is taking on an overall persona. This is where the energy is in the party. You and I can agree to disagree on this. I believe the Democratic Party overall is going too hard left. I believe there is anti-Semitism in there. We'll save that for another day. But I believe this is a branding issue for the Democrats that they are going to have to answer for. So we'll agree to disagree on this one.
It's obviously a challenge. It's obviously going to be a challenge, obviously, as they move forward to make sure.
All right. So let's unpack this. Donny Deutsch is nervous. He is rattled. Nicole, what are your thoughts there?
You know, there's a reason why the establishment Democrats are rattled. You need money to win elections. And you're not going to be able to go to your traditional big money people and sell them this socialism stuff. And it's not that the one point that Joe Scarborough made that's valid. New York is a little tiny place in a big, wide country. However, it is the center of most media. So this story is getting covered and covered and covered. And it's not just New York. Again, it's kind of spreading like a fungus across the nation. And they have completely lost control. Now, I don't want to call out any names. Nancy Pelosi said that this was going to happen because they had weak leadership. And she's not wrong. Weak leadership led to Mamdani's win. Weak leadership led to his popularity. Weak leadership allowed him to choose the candidates that were going to run in which race and to help them fund it. So don't think for one second that Muslim money is not helping these candidates. It absolutely is. Absolutely is. And people say, oh, the takeover is starting to happen. Baby, we're mid-takeover. We're mid-takeover. Those Republicans in New York, Republicans in Michigan, Republicans in Washington State, you have one thing to do, one thing to run on, one. And you know what it is? These United States of America. Because regardless of where you fall on the political spectrum, it's hard to debate that living here as a free adult person is comparable to anything else in the world. Ask them that one question. Name a place where socialism actually worked. I'm going to wait, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Not hold my breath.
No, you're right. Yeah. Shelley, I mean, and so he was correct that we didn't see the actual in name Democrat Socialists of America win elections across the country yesterday. But these people are leaning hard on the socialist side. Here in Maryland, we had some primaries wins on very leftist Democrats, right, Shelley?
Absolutely. We had our elections here in Maryland. And just like in New York, I tend to agree with Joe Scarborough, may it never be held against me. But I tend to agree with him in that clip. At the end of the day, when those people are on the ballot, I think the establishment be damned. If they win, they win, because ultimately that's what people want to do. So it doesn't matter if whatever money they get from whomever, that's not going to make a difference to them. What they want is to win. This is why I say the Republicans in New York and across the country, we need to make sure that the message that we are giving is about capitalism, like you said, Nicole, the United States, about our freedoms, our Constitution, and we need to stand on that. We need to take that message everywhere. They're going to do what they're going to do, funded by whomever, but they are going to be on the ballot. And I'm not betting on, or I'm not relying on the establishment being afraid. No, I'm looking at the end result. And these are the people they voted. They're going to represent the Democratic Party, regardless of the establishment. They are going to be the representatives of that party.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, you all know Tyrone Keys, who is from Soldiers of Finance. He's been on the show multiple times here. He was running for lieutenant governor with Ed Hale in the gubernatorial race yesterday. And so they did come up short. They did not win that. Governor Wes Moore, who you all know is running nationally as well, he won like in a landslide, and he is the favorite to win here in Maryland in the general election in November. All right. Now, one thing I want to say is we have seen where I do think that these democratic socialists, these leftists that are winning in smaller areas like New York City, like DC, like California, I don't think the Democrats really want this to go national. And let me tell you why. Look in Virginia. So as Donny Deutsch said, Abigail Spanberger, now she ran as a moderate. She ran as as this sort of moderate Democrat, a blue dog Democrat. And then once she got elected, she went all the way left. Okay. And so we've seen that a little bit, but I think this is going to be a problem nationally for the Democrat Party. All right. These people are not only just Democrat socialists, they're anti-American, they're anti-police, they're soft on crime, and that just doesn't do well. Take a look at one of the candidates in New York as she was blaming 9/11 in a speech she gave just a little bit ago. All right, this is clip 2.
And so and finding that the system of capitalism and racism and white supremacy, etc., have all, and Islamophobia have all been used, to colonize lands, right, to take resources from other people. And so this is like a long trajectory, and we're just seeing the manifestations of that continuation, right, with 9/11. And so a lot of times when people are asking us to respond about, attack, right, if you look back historically, right, a lot of us come from lands that were colonized, lands where wars are being waged, right? And a lot of times because of U.S. policy or the policies in Europe. And so I find that we can connect over that, but then also that the idea that we have to apologize for a terror attack that a couple of people did, and then there is no apologies or reparations for genocides and for slavery, etc., is something that I kind of find reprehensible.
Wow. All right. So Shelley, I mean, this is an anti-American message, is it not?
It is the hijab bitch. I don't understand what she's saying.
I don't know what production is doing tonight.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I said the hijab bitch. I don't know what she's talking about. Your forebears, if you will, your Islamists and Arab forebears, they ran roughshod over half of the damn globe, okay? So they colonized all these countries and peoples and enslaved them. So what is she talking about? Again, I understand your point, KJ, as far as the Democrats, they may be feeling uneasy, but I'm not betting on their internal conflicts. I still say the Republicans need to have a game plan and execute that. That's what I'm betting on, because once they get into office, like Spanberger, Mamdani, they can run however they want, moderately or not. But once they're in office, the damage is already being done, and we have at least 4 years to go through that damage and try to undo it and rectify it. That's too late.
Yeah, Nicole, what are your thoughts here?
There are so many problems that I have with migration to the United States. And one of the major problems that I have with migration to the United States is the lack of assimilation, right? And then the ones who do believe that they've assimilated, the free education that we provide for them, they use that information in a warped kind of strange, evil kind of way to hold it against actual Americans. So here's the deal. I'll start the gifts and go. I'm going to put $100 on sending you back to the cave, sis. You can go over there and be stoned to death because you got the nerve to have blush on your very white face. So you come here with your light beige ass, and you're going to talk to me about slavery and reparations when your people were enslavers. Can we have that conversation? Or did they gloss over that for you? You don't get to claim anyone else's history. You don't get to claim anyone else's misery, anyone else's history. You don't get to do that. You come to our nation, and the position you should take is gratitude. Right. Gratitude. Now, you may choose to dress up in them drapes, but we all know if we shipped your ass back to the cave where you came from, wearing those drapes wouldn't be optional. You'd be stoned to death for your behavior. Right. So let's not get it twisted. This freedom that you attempt to use against Americans, I can tell you on behalf of the Americans I represent, we're sick of your shit. We've had it up to here with you. I can't even begin to tell you how angry it makes me anytime I have to write a check for local taxes, state taxes, federal taxes, and you're going to sit there and talk shit about the nation that saved you from a certain death? You talk about wars being waged because of American policy. We don't have a dog in your fight. We don't want your sand. We don't want your rocks. We don't want your women, and we damn sure don't want your men. If I had my way, we would not have any migration from anywhere in the Middle East under the age of 55. You would have to be on the verge of retiring in order to even travel to the United States. Keep your problems and your shit over in your own country. We're not here for that. I've had enough. And I know I'm not the only one. I've had enough. This lack of gratitude, this sense of entitlement is just too much for me. It just really gets under my skin in a way that makes me murderous. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same
Absolutely
here.
homicidal.
Folks, this is what you call being unapologetically American. This is what we are here. Take a look. This is our merch. What's up, everybody? This is Poppin' Politics. Get your merch. Are you a Poppin' Politics fan? Are you unapologetically American? Or not black, not white American? We got it all for you right here. Get your merch.
Get the classic shirt. Classic. Goes with everything, comes in a variety of colors. Smart, edgy, conservative, like us, like you. This is a great way to support the channel. Click the merch button.
There is no shame in being an American. Get your shirt today and be unapologetic about it. Get your shirt, wear it, and be a proud American.
You can get it all in t-shirts and hoodies. You can get it in stickers, on bags. You can get it all on our website, metroconservativemedia.com, or our YouTube page, Pop and Politics, and tag over to store. You can get your merch and show you're proud to be an American and support Pop and Politics. All right. This is what it's about. This is what we need. This is how we push back against these people taking over our country. Now, again, not just buying merch, of course, but, we should be proud to do this. Is that right, ladies?
Absolutely. Everybody should be on their flag.
I'm an American all day long, all year, 24/7, and these people are coming to take over my country. And I have to do whatever I can do to stop it. Once they're in office, it's a little too late, or it's certainly at least 4 years too late, because then we have to catch up, regroup, and then recoup and recover the mess that they've made. So it's too much. They should not be in office. If you are not here, America first. Again, it's one thing that you're here, become naturalized, which I'm beginning to have more and more problems with that. That's number one. But the fact that you are, I have a new rule, Shelley's rule from last year. I think I started it. No naturalized citizens should be able to run for office or be in any office.
Agreed.
Yeah. And this is why. Take a look at this next clip. So this is one of the ones who won yesterday, Daraliza Avila Chevrolet. All right. And here she is talking about how she is hoping to reflect Islam in the halls of Congress, folks. We're not making this stuff up. We're bringing you all the receipts and the facts. This is clip 3.
That we all deserve a representative who isn't bought by AIPAC. I'm also the only Muslim in my family. I reverted 3 years ago. Actually, the friend who pushed me to do it asked me, why have you fasted for 4 years and yet you haven't taken your shahada? She's here today. And when she asked me that, I thought, that is a great question. And I thought for myself why I hadn't taken the step yet. But it was seeing how all of my friends who were showing up to organizing, who are Muslim, were showing up in the space, and the grace and love and passion that they had in these spaces of social justice, that really pushed me to join the faith. And wanting to make sure that we are reflecting that, I'm reflecting that in every space that I'm in, and that, inshallah, if we make it to Congress, that we're reflecting that in the halls of power as well.
All right. Nicole, what are your thoughts on what she said there? She won yesterday, her primary.
Well, of course she did. I mean, in blue strongholds, it is what it is. It's the choice between two evils, the evil you know, the evil you don't yet know. And this is an evil that comes from Columbia and doing all of those sit-ins and taking over the university. So her ability to motivate and activate those organizational skills to run a good campaign, plus the mayor of New York City helping, plus all the Muslim dollars helping, it makes it much easier for them to do these things. And when you combine that with low voter turnout, and you're going to hear me harp on y'all about this. You know, you guys don't know this, but I broke my foot. And I mean, I broke it. It's broken. And yes, Shelly's already got on me and KJ's already got on me. I'm going to have the surgery. Don't worry. It's going to be repaired. But I broke my foot. It poured raining here on primary day.
Mm-hmm.
There was a tornado 3 blocks away from my polling place. But guess who hobbled herself into that gym to cast my ballot? This is what Americans do, right? When we say, oh, I don't want Islam, I don't want Muslims, I don't want people who aren't American-born citizens to be in the halls of Congress, that's how you prevent it. Show up and vote. Show up and vote. Okay, you don't like to drive, you don't like to wait. They do this early voting. Maryland has a voting season. It felt like we started voting in January. I mean, so much going on. They've made it so easy for you to cast a ballot, rightfully or wrongfully, but so easy for you to do it. These low voter turnout numbers are disgusting. Now, I know there was no candidates to be all riz about. Nobody was very excited, like they had to go out and vote. It is your obligation as an American citizen. Do not think of it as optional and then complain when everybody's got to wear a burqa and you can't get a BLT anywhere in New York City. Do not complain because it's your fault. Americans who stay home, who do not vote for America First candidates, elect Muslims. They elect Islamists. And then you bellyache about it. This is on you, New York City. This is on you, New York State. You have to vote. Whether you don't feel like it or not, slap your butt over to that polling place and do what you need to do to protect our nation. That's how you help. How you help us.
Yeah. Shelly, what are your thoughts on what she said there?
I'm not wearing no damn burqa, hijab, abaya, not wearing it, not doing it, okay? I don't even like when people tell me what to wear to a damn event, okay? Let alone if I got, hell no, not going to happen, will not happen, not over here. Now, the rest of you, if you want to see your rights, your natural beauty, if you will, your God-given body, whatever, you can do that, and you have that right to do that in America, but not here. No. Zip, nada, zero, nilch, never.
Right? Absolutely. Folks, I mean, we got to continue to start pushing back. And the thing, and you heard what she said, AIPAC is in control. AIPAC. Folks, AIPAC, they donate to both parties. That's number one. They donate to both parties, Republican and Democrat. All right. And they are far from the largest lobbying group in Congress. Okay. We have the realtors, the Chamber of Commerce. Big Pharma is a huge donator to these candidates and things. So
teachers unions.
Say again? And
teachers unions. Yeah,
right?
unions spend a lot of money.
Exactly. So we got to start looking into the details behind these statements that these people make, okay, and push back against it because it's just not true. Now, AIPAC, they do donate. They do. I mean, they're up there. But they're not the most like these. I mean, the way that the left and the Democrats push this, it's like AIPAC is the number one donator. They're donating all this money, and it's not the case. So we got to continue to push back and get the truth out about this. Okay, we really do. Here's Mike Johnson sounding the alarm on what's going on in the primaries from yesterday. All right, take a look here. This is clip 4. All right. 1 second here. Sorry about that.
Across the country, Democrats have candidates winning primaries and rising through the ranks. Here's a few of them. Vang in California, one of the Democrats, she won't say the Pledge of Allegiance. Hamaway in New Jersey, Democrat candidate, socialist candidate, has ties to Al-Qaeda and other terrorists. Chevalier won last night in New York over Hakim's counter endorsement. She says she wants to abolish the border. She doesn't want a border for the country. Mendoza in Arizona wants to decriminalize trans prostitution. Apparently that's the thing. James in Iowa wants to apologize for being white, Gary Ott in Iowa performed a Satanist wedding. And Bennett in New Jersey stopped going to church because Trump voters were there.
These are the people. These are your DSAs, your Democratic Socialists. Okay. I mean, do you really believe these people are going to get a stronghold nationally, Shelley?
Oh, I do. I think they will. Like I said, certainly in California, Seattle, of course, on the West Coast, Maryland here, and New York City. And they already in Dearborn in the Midwest. And it's going to be to varying degrees. But again, they are getting elected. People, I don't know, Americans are swooned over this. This idea of culture and, this exotic looking religion, I guess, or cultural practices. They're coming to take your heads off, literally. Okay. They're coming to take your heads off, to take your daughters, to rape them, to maim anyone else. That's what they're coming to do. They're coming to make your sons, basically, I'm going to call it slaves to Allah, if you will. That's what they're coming to do. That's what they're coming to do. And many Americans, for the life of me, I don't understand it, except that it just sounds good. It looks good. It looks whatever, godly or holy. No, they are coming to literally take your life.
Well, I mean, with Mamdani and socialists taking over, you'd think conservatives would band together and push back. But people like Tucker Carlson are saying, hold my halal. He's leaving the Republican Party and wants us all to join him. Take a look at this.
Yeah.
I would not support the Republican Party. There's no chance I would support the Republican Party. I'm not going to support the Democratic Party. I don't know what I'm going to do. But at this point, how could I or any American voter support a political party that's not loyal to the United States, that puts the interests of a foreign country above those of its own citizens? That's it's not possible to vote for people like that, and I'm not going to. And I think I voted Republican my entire life. I worked at Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. I've been a consistent defender for 35 years of the Republican Party. I mean, very consistent defender. But there's no defending this because it's immoral, and it's exactly the opposite of what a political party in a democracy is charged with doing, which is representing its own voters, its own citizens, its own nation. And they're not doing that. So no, I'm out. And if I'm out, then I think a lot of other people are out. I would not support the Republican Party. There's no chance I would support the Republican.
All right. So there you have it. That's Tucker Carlson. He's been on the right for many, many years. And he has said he's slamming the Republican Party. Now, we know over the last couple of weeks, he's been upset about not just weeks, I mean, actually months. He's been upset about President Trump's administration, about how they have handled the conflict in Iran. And he's blamed that, also the connection with Israel. And he's out, and he's saying more people are leaving. So my question to you, Nicole, does this make sense after we've seen what happened in the primaries yesterday? He is leaving the Republican Party. He is slamming them and the presidency of President Trump. Do you think this makes sense?
Listen, I say assalamu alaikum. Get the hell out of here, Qatari. Get the hell out of here, Qatari Tucker, Doha Tucker. Listen, I get that he's bought and paid for. Fully bought and paid for. His behavior says, I used to be a Republican. I used to be, the guy who stood up for the party. Tucker has been probably over the last decade, the guy who'd stand with anybody who had a check. And I'm not mad at him. It is the American way. It is 100% the American way. We are capitalists. Make your money, bro, but don't turn your efforts into making money into some kind of moral indignation, some righteousness. Let me tell you something. The United States of America will continue to be the United States of America, and the Republican Party will remain the Republican Party. The world does not revolve around you, Tucker. I'm sorry to be the one to break this breaking news. You heard it here first on Poppin' Politics. We're going to be okay, family. Look, see this? We're going to be just fine. We're going to be just fine. You haven't been a part of us for a very long time. We managed to elect a president. We managed to take over the House. We managed to take over the Senate. We managed to wrestle control of the highest court of the land from liberal Democrats. Without you, we're going to be okay.
All right. Shelley, what are your thoughts there on what Tucker said?
Look, I have been contending for a while now. I don't think people necessarily want to follow Tucker Carlson. He can go wherever he's not with the Republican Party. Fine. That's number one. Number two, actually, what he's saying behind the message is what I've been saying, at least starting tonight or, tonight so far. Republicans are not listening because let's talk about some information, some data. It's true that people independents have been increasing more than they have been going to Republicans or Democrats since I think 1990 or so. The Gallup poll says that. So the numbers of independents are increasing. So the question for Republicans to ask is, why are people leaving to become independents and not remaining Republicans? To Tucker's points, I didn't hear what he said, at least before that clip, but some of the issues that we have been talking about on here, Americans want our politicians, our elected officials, to focus on us first. Okay, 3 weeks ago, the House and they passed a bill to give more money to Ukraine. Well, Americans are asking, what about the affordability issues we have here? How is it that these billion-dollar packages can be put together so quickly and sent all over the world while we still have issues in America that needs to be addressed? Our social security system, our healthcare system, Americans' taxes, we're the ones paying for it. So while Tucker is gone, wherever he's going, fine, go, be well, whatever you're going to do. There's still issues here that we have as an American body. And for 2 years right now, our Republican majority, we still have issues that we are not addressing. That's where I am. And I'm on the right. So I'm calling out on my side, which I've been doing. So I'm not going to just gloss over and say, oh, Tucker's leaving, he should stay. No, you want to go? Goodbye. Good riddance. Mm-hmm. But that still doesn't negate the fact that we have issues that we're not addressing in our own side with the power and with the ability that we have, I'd say for 2 years that we have allowed to go to waste for the most part.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is saying that we aren't addressing the issues, but I think it's two separate things we're talking about right now. With Tucker Carlson is a grimy, immoral, just grifter. All right. He does not care about what the Congress people are doing, what Republicans in Congress are doing. He doesn't care about that. He has been mouthing off for the past several years about President Trump, not about Congress, really, about Trump and his relationship with Israel. And he didn't start doing that until he left Fox. Okay. First of all, President Trump from the first term to this term has not changed, folks. He hasn't changed. Tucker's changed. President Trump has not changed. The first term, he put maximum pressure campaign within Israel. Okay. He put the sanctions. He believed in the sanctions. He said no new U.S. wars started. And he continued this. The maximum pressure, he escalated this. You're going to see a little bit of escalation since he doesn't have another term to go through. All right. But he has not really changed. I mean, when you think about it, the first term, he did a lot of stuff for Israel. And we didn't hear Megyn Kelly. We didn't hear Tucker Carlson say one word. All right. He did the historic Abraham Accords. All right. He moved the embassy to Jerusalem. Okay. He did a Soleimani strike, which protected Israel. All right. And now we're in the second term. Okay. Where he's continued his alliance with this nation in the Middle East. The only alliance we have over there, really. All right. So he has not changed. And I think that needs to be said. I really do. I think it needs to be called out because this man is a turncoat, grifting liar. All right. He doesn't care about the American people. He does not care about the Congress. And what you're saying, I agree with what you're saying, Shelley. That's not Tucker Carlson. And we need to call it out. All right. So, folks, sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think. Are you all leaving with Tucker? Or do you believe that this is the way to go? Or do you think this is something else? Or are you somewhere in between, as Shelley mentioned, where you want to, you are going to call out the inaccuracies and things on the right, but you're not ready to leave yet? Let us know what you think. All right. Do we have any super chats here that we missed?
I think we do. All right. Hi, Bernie. Thanks for joining us, Bernie. You ladies are the real view. Oh, thank you, Bernie. You're such a gentleman. All right, we have Paul again. Kung Fu CJ, thank you for your $2, Kung Fu. He says, okay. All right, okay. Everybody else out there, hit that like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And don't forget, we have a Discord channel as well. So when you get the merchandise that Nicole told you about, snap a picture of yourself and put it in Discord, and we will give you a shout out. Also, we have a website, www.metroconservativemedia.com. Go there, find out all the information about our shows, when we broadcast, when we, any clips that we have, some things that are going around the internet. Also, there's some community focus, so you can get some information about some local things happening maybe in our community and beyond, depending on who's writing. So nevertheless, we want your support. We appreciate your support. Keep the super chats coming, and we will shout you out again tonight.
All right, folks. We're gonna change gears a little bit here and talk about culture. You guys know we 3 Black women here. We've been if you got eyes, you can see that. Okay. And we're here in Baltimore. 2 of us are at least born and raised city girls. Okay. And so, we talk about culture here a lot on Pop and Politics. And so that takes us to our next segment. So a young guy that we connected with online has been doing some amazing work. Oh my gosh. I sit and I just doom scroll his stuff on Instagram. Where he's doing these man on the street interviews, and he's just talking mostly to women, mostly to Black women, about the culture. He's calling out some of the things that we call out on here all the time about what he's seeing. But the difference is it's rare that we see a young man doing this. Here he is talking to some young ladies, and ladies, I use that loosely, about what's the beautiful thing about Black women. All right, take a look here. This is clip 11.
Excuse me, ma'am. What's the most beautiful thing about a Black woman?
Me.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, for sure. Why do you say me?
I think a Black woman, the beautiful thing about a Black woman is we could advocate for ourselves. We're Black, we're beautiful, we strong. We take care of a lot of shit without a man. We don't need a man for shit.
So
men was mad that we got jobs.
If I'm not mistaken, the question was, what is the most beautiful thing about a Black woman? How did we go from that to her insulting men? Does it make sense to you guys? Because I'm kind of confused right now.
So you don't think Black women need men at all?
I mean, we need men for all reasons, all sexual reasons, but in all reality, we don't need no man. I didn't watch my mother be a woman her whole life. She didn't need no man. She took care of me her whole motherfucking life. She did not need no She did not need my dad.
You guys, what is the most beautiful thing about a Black woman?
Her smartness, her
intellect.
her hard working, being a hard worker.
A hard worker.
Being able to take over even when a man is not there. Not needing a man. Her confidence. That's the best part.
So once again, if I'm not mistaken, I believe my question was, what is the most beautiful thing about a Black woman? How did we go from that to talking about men? It's crazy how a lot of them hate men, and where is that coming from? Comment section, what do you guys think?
Not needing a man. Her confidence. That's the best part.
So do you think Black women don't need men today?
Yes.
Why do you think?
But it is, I mean, it's a man and woman word. You can't be happy like that without a man or a woman, but you can damn sure take care of yourself without a man or a woman, though.
So, but like all in all, Black women need men for them to progress, or you don't think so?
Absolutely not. Like a man don't need a woman to progress. You can progress on your own.
That's not the same, though, is it?
All right. So here to discuss his interviews and to go a little deeper in this stuff is Trayvon McNear. We have him with us tonight. How are you today, Trey?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Hi, Trey. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing
Yes,
good.
thank you so much for joining us. So before we get into this, please just shout out where people can find you, your YouTube, your social media, or anything else you want the audience to know how to connect with you. Oh, yeah, I think you're muted. Is he muted? Oh, we just lost the sound. Not sure. We could hear you at first, but now we can't hear you. Something happened there. Did you turn off your mic?
Well, do we have another one of his clips to show?
No, we'll fix. Yeah, okay. He's gonna fix that. But let's get into this. So, I mean, I want to start off with you, Shelly. That was like crazy, right? I mean, do you think this is the average young, woman these days? I mean, he just asked a simple question: what's the beautiful thing about a black woman? And they quickly go into just slamming men.
Well, that's one of my questions I keep having when I see clips like this on the internet or on social media. Are these people representative of an actual population, or is social media hyping up, that very small, minute corner, if you will? That's what I'm asking.
Back here. Can we hear? Do you hear?
Yeah, you guys can hear me now? Okay, yeah.
Question for you, Trey.
Go ahead. So you guys can find me at Stop Playing Trey on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, everywhere like that. And also thank you guys for having me on your platform as well. But to answer your question, so I randomly walk up to everybody that I see. So black women, black men, and it's mainly just black people. And I ask them all the same questions. And I typically will get the same responses from everybody, no matter who they are. So it's not really just a section of people that is picked out. It's really, that's just how everybody's thinking.
Wow. That was my question too. And you know what? I kind of knew that. I felt that in the back of my head, because just from the interactions I get with a lot of young women, it is the same kind of character, same type of feeling. How do you feel about that as a young man?
I think it's kind of crazy that we live in a society where number one, a lot of black women don't like their hair. They like to wear the wigs, the weaves, and everything like that. And then a lot of them also don't like leadership from men. When I always say like men are the leaders of women, they always get so mad about that. And I'm like, why? Because they always say, oh, we want leaders. But then when we try to lead, then there's a problem with that.
Yeah. Nicole, did you have something there?
It's very interesting, Trey. I have a staff, and most of them are Latina women. The majority of them under 25, like 22, 23, 24. They say the exact same things. And I talk to them about it all the time. I don't need no man. Me and my baby going to be okay. So, well, how did you get the baby? You picked her up at Target, Walmart, maybe Macy's. You needed a man at some point. Now you have this shared obligation, this shared life to look after. And this man that you don't want makes you crazy because he's not paying attention to you and he's making a baby with somebody new. Tell me again how you don't need that man, how that family doesn't feel pulled apart, how you feel like your child's not going to get the best of her father because the father is now going to be spread across several children. And they just look at me and go, that's so traditional. That's so old school. Yeah. How do you think you got here? How do you think you arrived here? Because we held on to those traditional values, trying to make families stick together. But when you grow up in a household with just one parent, usually a mother, and you do see her struggling, but what you hear from her is this strength. I'm a strong woman. I'm an independent woman. I've raised my children. Your children don't get the same sense of it's better if you have a partner. It's better if you work together. They think the goal is to be the strong, independent person instead of the happy, strong person in this family, where the man looks to God, the woman looks to the man, and the children are loved throughout the home. It is a foreign concept. So Trey, you're young, you're beautiful. How do we convince people like you the traditional way of life is much better than struggling on your own?
I think it's the issue with the culture. We see a lot of the celebrities promoting things that destroy black people, especially in the black community. So if we can get our, the youth away from that, then we'll probably see a switch or a turnaround. But right now it's looking like it's not really looking too good for us right now. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah. So how do you date a young woman who believes that? Who looks at you, either one or two. And I keep airing my staff out and they watch the show. So tomorrow's going to be a tough day for me at work tomorrow. Y'all pray for me. But they fall into one or two camps. Either the one camp where they believe that if you're dating someone, he needs to pay your car note, your insurance, your rent, buy your food, get your hair, your nails done, or they don't believe that men are valuable for anything other than sex. It doesn't seem to be any middle ground. So how do you date women who are playing those edges, the margins?
Well, I just personally, I make sure a woman is willing to follow my lead, and then we go from there. If she can't follow what I'm saying or the standards that I have, then we have nothing that we can even move forward with. So that's me personally.
You're going to save us all, Trey.
Trey, I have a question. Trey, what is your ultimate goal for these kinds of I guess clips or men on the street? I love men talking to people on the street, but what is your ultimate goal? I've seen a few of your clips on, I think, IG, and I mean, of course, you're right. They're all similar, you know, the different questions, the same questions, kind of similar population of people. But what is your ultimate goal in doing this?
I really want to spread a message to Black men to really, or to everybody, to let them see how Black women are thinking about the natural hair, because the end goal is to promote natural hair and to try to get people away from the fake hair, because it has chemicals. It sets a bad example for the youth. It shows that a lot of Black women want to be like white women when they're putting on these straight hair wigs. So it's really to spread a message and let everybody see what's actually going on.
Yeah, and folks, for you guys who may not know, because we didn't show those clips, most of his content, Trey's content, is about asking women, Black women, about their natural hair. And I love it. You know, I was just recently at the track nationals. So every year they have these track meet nationals for high schools. And yeah, I ran track in high school as well. And all of the Black girls had all this weave in their hair. And it was almost weird to me, because it was just like everybody had long weaves. And I was like, how do they run? Because it was like 90 degrees. Okay. We were in the South. It was like North Carolina. It was like 90 degrees. And I'm thinking, because when I ran track, I had, you know, my little ponytail is my hair. And you want to be light. You want to be sort of, and they had all this weave in their hair. And and I mentioned something about that to somebody. I was like, it just looks weird to me. It's no variety. They all had the same style, same long weave. These are young girls, you know, and you and what I want to ask you is, are most young men like you? Do most young men want to see natural hair, or do they like the Nicki Minaj, the Cardi B, you know, because they all wear weaves as well. So is it are these women doing what men really want?
So that's interesting, because every time I do speak to any man, it doesn't matter if they're older or younger, they always say we want to see the natural hair. But then we see Black women doing the opposite. Not all, because you guys are all natural right here, obviously. But most Black women wear fake hair, wigs, and weaves. And I don't think they do this at all for men. I think they do this for women, because they're trying to fit in with a certain crowd. Because like you said, the Nicki Minaj's and Beyonce's, they're all wearing straight hair and like wigs and weaves and stuff like that. So they're trying to fit this image.
Well, I have a follow-up question, Trey. I'm assuming, I couldn't, correct me if I'm wrong, are you Gen Z? You don't have to give me your age, but you're Gen Z?
I'm 26. I don't know about the.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So that's Gen Z, and most of the people you talk to, like, they seem to be on your videos in your age group. But let me ask you this question: why is hair so important?
You mean in general or to me?
Well, I'll say to you, or maybe the generation that you might represent. Why is it so important? Why is it important to the women that you ask? Why is it important to the guys? I guess what I want to say is, out of all of the issues, if you will, quote unquote, why is hair, you know, that important?
Well, number one, so when I started this as a prank. I would go up to Black women and be like, why do you guys want to be white? And I would have a blonde wig on and everything like that. But then Black women started to tell me like, hey, I hate my hair. We hate our hair and stuff like this. So I'm like, I'm looking at Black women and I'm like, your hair, natural hair is beautiful, but you're telling me that you hate your hair. So I figured out a lot of Black women are insecure about their own hair. And then black women spend billions upon billions of dollars on wigs and weaves and fake hair every year. And this money can be allocated to other things. And they're making black people poorer and Asians richer, and Asians do not care about black people.
Yeah, and I like that you point out the hypocrisy of it. You know, we have these people like these celebrities, like these rappers who wear white women's hair. I mean, it looks like our hair, most black women's hair does not grow out of our hair long and straight, okay? And they can, or blonde. Many of them wearing blonde hair. They're wearing all types of colors. And then so they're emulating white women or Indian women or, you know, whatever. And then they talk about this idea of support black women are beautiful, you know, all this type of stuff. It doesn't make sense. It's never made sense to me. And the thing about this newer generation, when we talk about this, because we used to wear weaves. I used to wear weaves when I was younger, but it wasn't every day. It wasn't like something that you would wear for like a special occasion. Then the rest of the week you wear your own hair. Another thing, you wore a weave to make it look like your hair. So it wasn't like a situation where I would wear a weave and it had nothing. Next day I'm wearing my short hair. You wanted people to at least maybe think that it was your hair. But now, I mean, good Lord, I saw a girl walking down the street the other day. She took her weave off right in the middle of the street.
That's
in
crazy.
her defense, it's hot. You've been praying for this heat, KJ, and you burning the rest of us up. It is 100+ degrees, and the only person in this state who likes that is KJ. She's the only person who likes it.
You had one of your questions, or I saw one of your clips. You said, put in the link if you want me to ask some question, like ask another question to your next man on the street. And I typed in there, I want you to ask these women in particular, are they saving any money after their paycheck? Do they have retirement planning or financial plans for the future? And are they saving towards that? Compared to, again, your point about the hair, the money that they're spending on the hair. I want you to ask them some more questions like that. Maybe, I don't know, some kind of way tie that link. You're spending X amount on this people's hair that you don't want to look like, so you say, but they're making money, like you just said, the Asians. But what about you? What are you doing for yourself, since you're so self-supportive and confident? What are you doing for yourself or your future? Are you going to be able to afford more hair in the future?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to actually go ahead and put that in my notes. So I'll go ahead and make that a part of my interview questions.
Yeah.
So Trey, did anyone actually answer the question? When you asked them, what did they love about Black women? What did they like about Black women? Did anyone actually give you a response to that question, or did everybody go off on men? Because I've watched it a couple times, and I was waiting for someone to say what they love about Black women: our skin, the way our bodies move when we walk, our voices, our intellect, you know, our innate ability to make $1 out of 15 cents and do it while you're gracious and kind and loving and nurturing. But what I heard was, I don't need a man. Men suck. You better stay away from me unless we're making a baby and this and that. And then you ask the young lady, but do you want to be married? Yes, I want to be married. I want to be married. Well, who you going to marry if men suck and you don't need them? You know, all you want them for is sex. I mean, who's marrying that? Who's going to walk you down the aisle? And for what? Because apparently you're giving the sex up now. So what's the point? What's the point?
Yeah, honestly, they don't usually respond that way. So that was kind of shocking to me as well. I didn't really have much to say to her. I was just smiling in her face. But they normally will say like skin, eyes, hair, you know, stuff like that.
Oh, good. Yeah, because she went there. I was like, oh my gosh, like she was waiting on you. She was waiting to unload all that. I was like, my goodness. Okay.
I think she might have been a little bit drunk or something like that. But it's crazy too, because like when people are drunk, their true emotions come out. So that's why she started getting mad about men and all this other stuff when that wasn't even the topic.
Yeah, she went a little personal.
I want to ask you, because I do find you know, a lot of guys in this space that do this type of content where they're kind of asking women, Black women, things and talking about sort of like the hypocrisies of Black women. I wonder, are they married to or are they dating Black women? I'm curious of that from you. I don't know if that. I'm not trying to insult you in any way. I'm just curious. Do you date Black women?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But it's very hard to find black women that, number one, wear their natural hair, and then
Mhm.
number two, they're willing to listen to a man and let him lead as well. Because as they always say, they're like, "Oh, black women are so strong and independent. I don't need a man." So it's hard
Mm.
to for most guys to find a solid black woman today.
Wow.
But let me ask you sort of a pushback question, Trey.
Okay.
Are there solid guys for these men? For these women, I'm sorry, for these women. Are they solid guys, solid black guys? And let's describe them. Where would they be found?
To be honest, most men maybe not. I don't know. Because a lot of men, like, they smoke weed, and I'm not trying to get y'all flagged, but they do intoxicants and they drink and play video games. So maybe not most. Maybe there's not a lot of good men out here. But there are some solid black men out here for sure.
I agree,
Okay.
Trey. There's a lid for every pot. You just got to find if you're
For
a pot,
sure.
go find you a lid. And if you're a lid, go find you a pot. It may take longer than you would like to, but that's the time. That waiting time is when you get to work on yourself, right? When you
For
realize gluing somebody else's hair on your head with some chemicals, not really good long term. And I say this as a person that was pink for like 6 weeks when she was a teenager. It's like, women go through that stage where you want to experiment and try things. But what happens nowadays, it just seems like some people are hiding behind these things and they're not really showing the world their true face. And it's difficult to walk around with no makeup. Not for me, though. It's difficult for some people to wear their natural hair. I mean, KJ and Shelly will tell you, I got a blowout a few weeks ago and my hair was so straight. I was devastated. I was in our little group chat like, she blew my hair so straight. I look Chinese. It won't wave up. Oh my God. Was having a whole meltdown. I kid you not. I wore a party pony for like 3 weeks because it just wouldn't do what I needed it to do. And when it finally started to revert back, I was so excited because, that's in the summertime, especially, you don't want to have to sit under a blow dryer for an extended period of time. But when you see women who do all of that, who do the super glam makeup, the super long fingernails, at some point when all of that is washed off and all of those things are pulled off, are you okay with what's underneath it? And, I have 19 nephews and I always talk to them about that. What's shiny and pretty, what's under all of that? That's the real prize, not how she presents herself to the world, but who she really is.
Funk is underneath it. Okay. Let me tell you something. These girls out here, and I used to be in the salons for all day, every day. My hair used to be all the way down my back. They are nasty and disgusting. It is generally under these wigs are matty, nasty, funky hair. Under the nails, these long nails is disgusting. All the makeup, it's laziness. It really is. I'm actually disgusted by it. I'll be honest with you. And again, I'm not saying anything's wrong with wearing makeup, even the lashes, even the hair. But when you're doing this day in and day out and you don't have a medical condition, all right, and these are young girls, not like, grandma and grandpa I was to say grandma who wears the old wig, whatever. These are young girls that are out here wearing wigs every day, wearing the nails every day. You have even this phenomenon, you should ask about this, where they were in labor and delivery and they had on full faces of makeup. They had to have their wigs on. These girls were having babies. This is ridiculous. This is very ridiculous.
That's crazy.
But I want to ask you one last question.
Mm-hmm.
Because you mentioned about, women need to allow men to lead them. And you're the type of young man who was looking for a lady to lead, so you can lead. Where do you get that from? Are you pulling that from a biblical perspective, or why are you saying that men should lead?
Well, I think that's what the natural order is. A lot of my ideology I do get from the group that I'm a part of called Assassin. I don't know if you guys know who Marquette Devon Burton is, but he basically created an organization where he created sections around the world where we get we meet up together, we do workouts, we talk about relationships, health, wealth, and everything. So we just we try to strive for greatness, and then we also want a woman that's going to be on our program as well. So to answer your question, I just think that it's best if a woman wants you to lead, because that's what they want as well, and that's what our natural role is as well.
All right. And when you say natural, where is this pulling from? What do you mean natural?
So
what's the name of the group you mentioned?
The Assassin. So you guys can just search Marquette Devon Burton on Instagram, and everything will come up on there. But I just think without society, if we were just like animals in the wild,
I see.
We dominate. There's nothing right. So that's where that comes from.
Okay, so it comes from a
natural order,
animalistic order. Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, please, before you go, share with where people can find you again, any social media, and any events you have coming up.
So again, that's Stop Playing Trey on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. That's about it for now, and I appreciate you all for having me on your platform.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trey. Your videos are so much fun. Absolutely love them. Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a great night.
Good night.
Have a good evening.
All right, folks. So again, as you come in, hit that like button. We got a couple more things to hit for you tonight, folks. So we're going to be for a little bit more, but hit that like button. Also, if you like what you hear, subscribe. We're trying to grow a movement here of like-minded people. So definitely subscribe and super chat. That's a great way to support us, to keep us online, to keep us pushing out this content. So your super chats go a long way in helping us do that. All right. We have some super chats. Speaking of that, right, Shelly?
All right, we do. We have Krista here. Thank you for your $2. Can you explain AIPAC and Jews taking over Rage? I'm not sure what you mean, but AIPAC is a lobbying group, and the Jews. I mean, people are talking about the Jews in Israel, so it's all like a political bent to it. But go ahead and Google some things about AIPAC, and then maybe you can help us understand what you're asking. Let me say it that way. Hi, Bernie. Thank you, Bernie. Again, thank you for being here. I work for a hospital here, wherever that is, and there's this black shapely woman that wears a tight but very feminine dress, and she's almost bald, but she's beautiful. Gotta look at the person themselves. Thank you, Bernie. That's always good. Yeah, that's a good reminder. Absolutely. Thank you, Bernie. Thank you, everybody out there in that super chat land. Look, there are over 400 people that are watching, but we do not have over 400 likes, shares, or subscribes. So I need you all to make that happen tonight, right now. Go ahead and do what you're supposed to do. You're in our house. Hit that button, hit that notification bell as well. Thank you for your support.
All right. I think, Nicole, you were going to say something about AIPAC.
Right, about AIPAC and the rage over Jews. This is part and parcel of the failure of our public school system. We fought a whole war about the genocide. I mean, an entire world war. But if you were to ask your average 20-something on the street, what was the catalyst that drew the world into war? They would not be able to tell you the genocide of Jews. They would not tell you anything about Nazis. They think Donald Trump is a Nazi. That's what they think Nazis look like. So when we don't teach our children actual world history, like anything else in life, if you don't learn the lesson, you're doomed to repeat it. And here we are doing this all over again. And I say this from a person who grew up in a Jewish neighborhood and lots of friends that I absolutely adore who are Jewish. If we don't stand up and protect this community, who do you think they're going to come for next? People say, oh, you're being hyperbolic. Read your history. Go get you a 5th grade civics book and flip to the part about the world wars. Flip to the part, because evil doesn't stop unless good men do something. Good men have to fight off evil. That is just it. It's in the Bible. We've learned it throughout history, but we don't teach our children that. We're so busy teaching them about, 2 dudes named Steve having a baby and dildos and all this other stuff. We're not teaching them world history. So here we are again, thinking that Jews are, the cause of every single problem in this world. We have to do better. 2026, and we're living like it's 1920.
Yeah. Very good points. Very good points, ladies. And one of the people that was sounding the alarm, not so much about Israel, but about this Islamist Marxist connection, was Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was one of the main ones sounding the alarm about this. Okay, and now people are trying to use his name and put him in this camp, put him in that camp. But thank God we've got video, we've got audio, his written words to tell us what he really thought. Okay, and this is right on time for what we're seeing, at least within the primary and the socialism that we're seeing take over throughout several areas of the United States. Take a look at what he says here. This is clip 8.
The Marxists that have infiltrated your government and the Islamists that are coming to your country. And when they combine together, they both agree on one thing. They have huge disagreements on a lot. They hate the West, and they want to see it mission.
It is what I call the red, which is Marxism, and then the green axis. And we don't talk about the green axis enough. It is a mixture of Marxism and Mohammedism. Mohammedism, otherwise known as Islam. Now, needless to say, we all know 1 or 2 or 3 good neighborly Muslims, right? I know some in Phoenix, Arizona. It's not an indictment of them. The bigger question, though, is what happens when you import tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of this foreign ideology. And out of all the different backgrounds, the one ideology that has the worst track record of assimilating with the United States of America, it's Islam.
All right. So he's telling the truth there. Marxism and Islamism are not the same ideology. Marxism is atheist and materialist, and Islamism is religious and political. But historically, they have repeatedly formed alliances around shared enemies: the West, capitalism, Israel, nationalism, and traditional liberal democracy. So that's why they come together, in the way that we're seeing. Shelley, what are your thoughts about what he just said?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's what it is. That's basically what it is. And when you do that, as different as they may be, as differing as they are with each other, their goal is to take out the West, the Western values, the Western historical Judeo-Christian liberal values that we have all been founded on in the West. And the people of the West, Britain is kind of experiencing this. They're in this little fuzziness. They're not sure which way to go. Germany has certainly experienced it. Okay. And now it's on our shores to our utter dismay, but we should not be surprised because it's already here and they're already making their way in. Not only are they here, we let most of them in. We let a lot of them in, okay? Legally and illegally. We let a lot of them in. This idea of compassionate, I think it was George Bush, this compassionate conservatism, if you will. So we let them in and we did not vet them. We thought just by them saying, I want to come to America, I'm escaping whatever kind of problems in my own country. Come here, everybody come in. No, we did this to our own demise. And now we're starting to reap what their values really are and what they really want to do. And they want to destroy us. That's what they want to do. Believe it. Don't believe my word. Go look around the country, read up about what's going on. Do it for yourself. But they want to destroy us.
Yeah. Nicole, what are your thoughts on what Charlie Kirk said there about this connection between Islamists and Marxism?
So, Democrats always talk about intersectionality, where things meet and what happens in the crossroads of things. And when you think about what happens at the crossroads of this, I don't want to say Muslim, but Islamist, where it meets up with Marxism, and then you sprinkle on a little bit of socialism on top of it, and you throw on a man, damn it, smiling like a damn Chester cat. It makes it look like it's something new and fresh and exciting and sexy, especially if you don't have any basis of knowledge to know that this is evil personified. They want our freedom. They don't like that you're free. They don't like that you can speak your mind. They don't like that you as a woman, me and you, KJ, got a shoulder out. We'd be stoned to death. We would not fight them to my death, make no mistake, but they try their best to stone us, right? You couldn't have on a little rouge. You couldn't have on a lipstick. Everything that makes us feel free as Americans, they hate. But they don't hate it enough not to come here to infiltrate our country, to pretend like they absorbed our values. We're just looking for a better life. Then when they get to a voting mass. Think Dearborn, Michigan. The very first thing they do is they start implementing their community standards because, you know, now they have political power. And we have suicidal empathy. This is what we have. No one wants to call them out because I'll be a racist. Can I tell you, call me a racist? They got to go. That I don't care if they're naturalized. I don't care if they have a green card. I don't care if they had 25 kids on these shores. Them and them children have got to go. We have to defend our way of life. And if that makes me a Christian nationalist, any of these other ists, just ist me up and down, makes me no difference. One thing I will never stop being is that.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is more valuable to me than being called racist.
And let's talk about the historical reference that we're talking about, or an example of this alliance between Islamism and Marxism. Okay. And the cleanest example I can think of is the 1979 Iranian Revolution, the revolution that brought Ayatollah Khomeini, you know, to power. It was not only an Islamist movement at first, it included a coalition of Islamists, secular liberals, nationalists, communists, and Islamist Marxists. They all united against the Shah. Okay, you guys can look this up in Britannica. It also notes that the opposition to the Shah included both clergy favoring theocracy and far left interests such as communists. That's a great example of what Charlie Kirk was talking about. All right, so we're not pulling this stuff out of thin air. This happened in history, and we're seeing it play out today. Okay, folks. And speaking, one of you ladies mentioned the idea of the indoctrination we're seeing in our schools, because the schools are creating women like Trey brought up, these women he's interviewing, and these Islamists and these Marxists, you know, not just women, but men as well, boys. And in the classrooms, this is where this is coming from. Take a look at this next clip here. This is from a school that hosted an event in New York City where fifth graders put on a theatrical performance of getting shot by police, all for the likes of social justice.
Graders put on a show where they mimed getting shot by police. Fifth graders. Now, this isn't the first time PS 75's woke curriculum has come under scrutiny. The New York Post reports that students once performed a Palestinian folk dance critics say has terrorist ties. The school also has a rainbow room full of LGBT content, and that's for kindergarten and beyond, which students can use without parental consent, and an all-gender bathroom where boys reportedly harass girls on a routine basis. Outnumbered reached out to the school for comment, and here's what they said. We are investigating this situation. Emily, I hope this is a part of their investigation. These kids were shouting about Ferguson. Obama's DOJ, let me just quote, based on this investigation, the department has concluded that Darren Wilson's actions did not constitute prosecutable violations. So in other words, if you know the facts of this case, that's a pretty bad one to choose, not to mention that you are miming being shot by a police officer on a stage.
This horrific experience joins a long list of problems coming out of that school, and most of it is behind not only the principal, who makes $200 grand a year, but also a specific teacher who, in the words of one parent, is basically just driving the push to inculcate the students. She's the one that led the multicultural dance that has come to be associated with terrorism, where the kids stomped on the floor to mime stomping on the state of Israel. They have a rainbow room where kids can access it without the approval of parents. They have transgender or all-gender bathrooms where reportedly boys continue to harass girls. The list goes on, including buttons that announce their sexuality. So in childish scrawl, there are photos of buttons that say, "I'm bisexual." This is horrific and shocking. And mind you, the fourth graders, by the way, just got up there and sang like a Native American poetry. And then fifth graders come in and just all of a sudden things go to hell. This is what your tax dollars are paying for. This is what the school system has been blessed to do.
All right. So We just talked about these young girls. This is why the young girls and young women are out here acting a fool. All right, from our last segment. They're boys too. But folks, get your kids out of public school. Shelley, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's two different things. Let me say this. Number one, this is a public school. I think it's public school 075 on the Upper West Side or Upper East Side in New York City, where you typically have upscale families, high income earners up in those two areas on the Upper West and East Side of Manhattan. That's number one. Number two, my question was, I know the commentators are talking about how this teacher and this principal, where are the parents? Because the parents have to drop these children off. You can't tell me this is not the first time that this school has been known for something like this. The parents are actually bringing them to the performance, to the assembly, if you will. There are plenty of people in that auditorium, I'm certain, that live amongst that community. So this is not an outrage for them. It's an outrage for us. But again, it confirms to me, like we're seeing in parts of in New York, as far as the election, the Mamdani. This is why I say either New Yorkers are okay with it, or something else is just not right, or something. But we're not getting the full story. But to me, it sounds like New Yorkers are by and large okay with this. This is a public school. It has happened before. It's going on, and there's zero outrage about it, except for what you're hearing on these clips right here.
Yeah. Nicole, what are your thoughts on what we saw?
It's luxurious to come from a wealthy family and have outdated, outlandish kind of politics, because like Shelley was saying, the Upper West Side, these children have the luxury of really screwing up a community and then packing their stuff up and moving to a red state to live again. What you don't realize is little Johnny, who's pointing to a mountaintop and miming being shot by a cop, maybe he'll be elected. Maybe one day he'll grow up to be mayor of New York City. And when he ruins New York City, he'll pack up his stuff and let's say, move to Miami, like most New Yorkers who could and have done. But the people who paid the price are the people who are so poor that they can't stay. So they're stuck in the trap that little Johnny has built. This is that indoctrination when we talk about they started very early and they just layer it on and on and on and on. It used to be that we did that for children to teach them patriotism. You learned the Pledge of Allegiance when you were in kindergarten, and you said the Pledge of Allegiance all the way through school, whether you wanted to or not. You did that because it taught you to be a patriot, and that's ingrained in your brain. What these kids are learning is to hate their nation. They're learning to hate freedom as the way we define it, right? They're embracing this Marxist culture, this communism, this socialism, because they think it's cool. Again, when we don't teach our children the truth, this is what we end up with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I still stand by what I said, because this is multiple years of this. So we're seeing generations that have been indoctrinated. So they probably don't have an issue with it, because the parents, if you think fifth graders, they're about 10 or 11 years old. So their parents were indoctrinated in their schools. So it's just been a generation after generation thing where they've been taught that this is the correct way to be. These things are true. Police are out here killing Black folks in the streets. Hands up, don't shoot, which we know was a lie. Okay. And now they're teaching their children. So the parents are not going to push back against it, because they're the result of the indoctrination as well. But we know U.S. policing has flaws. All right. We admit that. But the FBI and the DOJ have long data consistently showing most police shootings involve armed, resisting suspects. All right. Black folks are overrepresented, as in the arrest offenders, right, and victims due to these crime rates. But it's not systemic racism. Okay. And we talked about this on here before with studies from Roland Fryer at Harvard, who is a Black man who saw that what this really is. Okay. But these people don't want to see this. And teaching kids to fear and demonize cops at age 10 ignores that police prevent more violence than they cause. But It's a cycle that we will continue to see over and over again. And this is why, folks, we speak out against it. We got to get the word out. We got to get the truth out. Please, as you come in, hit that like button, share this broadcast, share it in the DM, share it on your social media. This is what we need to do in order to get the truth out, because their voices are louder than ours. They have mainstream TV, mainstream news. They have the culture. They have the movies. My God, I was watching a movie the other day. The social justice crap they are putting in these movies, it doesn't even make sense with the scripts. It doesn't make sense. And they continue to put it in. They're putting it in the movies now, the lies. We have some super chatters here, I believe.
All right. That's who we have right now. Thank you all for hitting that like, share, and subscribe out there. Kung Fu CJ, thank you. He says, that's right, Nicole. Bill Federer tells it all in his lectures. You can find his speeches on YouTube. All right, thank you. The Scrapping Beauty, thank you for your super chat. Public schools are destroying alpha mentality. There is a reason for them not to protect their own. Thank you for that. And we have Pat Wood. Okay. Pat Wood, I'm sorry. I was looking at the other screen. Sorry. Pat Wood, thank you for your super chat. My sister said Dearborn was going Muslim 28 years ago. They've been here. They've been here. Yep.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, folks. Well, we will be back tomorrow night on another channel, The Right Verdict. Right, Nicole?
Oh my gosh, it is our new true crime show, and it is so delicious. There's so much going on. We have the Tyler Robinson case that's picking up steam, and we were just talking about how people end up getting shot by the police. We've got body cams that show you exactly how not to be shot by the police when you get pulled over, or my favorite thing, being tased repeatedly by the police because you're acting a fool. We cover all of those things on our show, The Right Verdict. It is fun, it's informative, and when I tell you we get into it, there is no stone unturned. We talk about race, gender, color, conviction. We even talk about Tyler Robinson's boyfriend being a furry. So we go there. So put the kids to sleep, pop yourself some popcorn, open up a bottle of red wine, kick back, and spend an hour with us going into a deep dive in the cases that really matter to people who love true crime.
All right, absolutely. So that's 10 p.m. tomorrow night, right there at The Right Verdict on YouTube. And right before that, you can catch me on Christian Conservative, me and Michelle, tomorrow night at 9 p.m. right here at KJ Christian Conservative, where we provide a biblical perspective on all of this news, pop culture. As you guys can see, that you heard me ask the young man, Trey, where do you get this idea of men lead? Because it doesn't make sense if you don't have a foundation on why men lead. And I think that's a big issue with men. They're not getting their direction from God. They're getting it from all this other stuff. And that's why women aren't following. But we can get into that a little bit more. We have another super chatter here. It looks like
we do. We have Savrix. I think I said it right this time. Savrix, thank you for your $5. Anyone coming out of academia or anybody who watches media without question is a potential revolutionary from social engineering. Thank you so much for stopping by. Everybody, don't forget, on your way out, hit that like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know when we go live, no matter what day. All our shows on the Metro Conservative Media platforms. Go to our website, www.metroconservativemedia.com, and you can find out much more information there.
All right. Want to close out with this last clip. Stephen A. Smith going in on Zohran Mamdani, folks. So, I mean, he's on the left, but he's one of those old dog Democrats, blue dog Democrats, who still has a little bit of sense. I don't agree with him.
He's liberal.
Right, liberal. Right, Shelly. Yep. I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff, but he at least you can, critically thinks about this stuff and makes sense. Okay. We'll see you guys on tomorrow night on The Right Verdict. All right, take a look here. Yes, indeed. This is Stephen A. Smith.
Gentlemen, let me be very, very clear. If the Democratic Party becomes the likes of Zohran Mamdani, who, by the way, I like. I'm not trying to throw any shade on him or anything like that, but if the Democratic Party becomes him, you have no chance. You have no chance on a national basis in terms of the presidency, in Senate, seats in the House, you have no chance. You have no chance. I want to be very, very clear about that. You might have a Democratic Socialist sprinkled here and there, but that ain't what America is. America's about capitalism. America's about dollars and cents. America's about an economy, a flourishing economy. Okay? And you know what it's not about? Free stuff. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it.
Say it.
Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it.
There we go. We'll see you guys tomorrow.